So now we are in Catalonia with Cellar de les Aus or Alta Alella, I think it is. And we have a pet nat made from Xarel-lo or Panza Blanca, as they call it there. You may or may not know, but I have a very special place in my heart for Catalonia and Barcelona generally, because up until COVID, that's actually where Nick and I lived. And we came back to the US after that. So you'll see a lot of Catalonian wines in our club and on our site. And I will definitely not apologize for it because they have some amazing stuff there. So back to this wine. I, love sparkling Xarel-lo. Obviously, that's what they use a lot in cava. But this is definitely your departure from your traditional style of cava. So the producers are right on the Mediterranean. So maybe we'll find some salinity in here. Normally that's the case, but we'll find out in a minute. They are a couple. They do dry farming, obviously. And that area has really cool terroir. It used to be underwater, like during the dinosaur times. So when we would go out and visit producers, you'd see like fossils and stuff all in like the granitic soil, like sandstone, just really, really cool stuff. So yeah, really exactly the type of terroir that you would want for producing like a gorgeous sparkling wine like this. So with that, let's jump in. All right, so depending on which club you're in, you also may or may not had the Foam Vulcan, and I just had that one right before this one, and it's just so interesting, like how absolutely different, sparkling white wines can be from each other. It seems like, they can be this category where it's just like, I'll take the bubbles, but man, like this is such a different type of bubbles than the foam. I would almost say this one's more reserved, and the foam is more like in your face, which is funny because even if you just look at the labels, you could almost say that it's also reflected there. All right, so what am I actually getting here? So at the top, honestly, I'm getting a little bit of like salty pear, I guess, because like I was thinking I'd get a little more minerality on the top. I'm not getting as much as I would have expected, but definitely getting that saltiness. And then when you go down, it's interesting because normally I think of apples before I think of pears, but something about this one really is just saying to me like pears first, and then maybe like a little bit like the yellow apple or a not super tart green apple. And then there's also like there's some sort of spiciness to it, not like baking spices like tarragon or oregano. It's not oregano. I don't know, one of those. Let's see if we can get it better on the palate. And then there's definitely this kind of like creaminess to it. It's a salty, creamy pear. That sounds like something I would want to eat. So yeah, let's try it. That is tasty and refined. So I didn't mention at the beginning, they did let it go through complete malolactic fermentation, which is what makes it pretty creamy. So the mouthfeel is very round, and I would still say it's light bodied, but it's bordering on medium bodied. And I believe that's definitely where it's coming from, because Xarel-lo, you can make it incredibly lean if you don't let that malolactic fermentation happen. But when you do, this is what you get. And I think it really matches gorgeously with the other, like I don't want to say natural notes because it's all natural at the end of the day, but like the fruits and the saline qualities of it. Man, that's tasty. Let me try another bite, then let's talk about pears. The finish is just so long too. So yeah, this is not your mimosa wine. This is definitely, sit, appreciate, and like, and it's just a great example of what you can do with Xarel-lo outside of the standard cava style that everyone might be used to. So bubbles, easy pairing. My go-to is typically always, snack foods, lunch foods. I really feel like that's what these things do well with. Because it has this like saline quality to it, I like the idea of maybe putting it with something that's a little bit salty, like maybe like salted nuts. You could put it with some stuff on a cheese board. It's not going to go great with every cheese. But you know, if you're doing appetizers or like, I'm even just thinking like those little tarts, those like mini quiches and stuff. I don't know. Bubbles are just so good for that type of atmosphere. But yeah, and then going back to like lunch foods, again, anything that might have a little bit of salt in it could be good. But it's light and bright. It still has like a little bit of a like, it's close enough to medium bodied that I'm not afraid to like put it with something, say, I don't know, I was about to say schnitzel, which is a really weird direction to go, but I don't hate this with schnitzel. Could be really good. Honestly, in some ways, the texture of it reminds me a little bit of that Apfelwein or whatever they call it, the apple type wine. I'm not exactly sure if it's more wine or beer, but that they make in Munich. So yeah, schnitzel, sure, that could work too, and that might be a nice one for the winter too. But beautiful, really great bubbles. Yeah, just you would never, well, I don't think you would ever know it's a natural wine. It's certainly one of those that could pass the test. I don't think it doesn't look like, I know it went through a lot of mallow, but I don't see a ton of sediment at the bottom. So I feel like this one could also pass as, you'd never know it's natural wine. So I hope you enjoy, have someone nice to share it with.